Hey guys, just finished watching Daredevil Season 3, Episode 8, Upstairs and Downstairs. Wow, what an episode. 9.5 here on IMDb, and yeah, that's pretty much an amazing episode. Even though there's not too much fighting and stuff, so much stuff happens in this episode. It is such a great episode. I mean, the first thing we see is we see Ray. He's looking into the FBI. He kind of has Matt's voice in his head, and he's kind of looking into figure out which FBI agent is what was pretending to be Daredevil. And he immediately stumbles upon Poindexter and stuff, and he starts looking at the logs, and he knows that Poindexter's kind of off duty and stuff, and he's kind of looking into that, which I'm not sure. It's unclear as to how much Poindexter's past, something like that, you think the FBI would kind of know about and all that stuff, and it seems like they probably don't know about it, because I had already assumed throughout this whole thing that it kind of felt like that, Ray would have somewhat known about Poindexter's background, because everyone in the FBI would have known about that, him going into it, they would have done a thorough background check and stuff, and, but I guess, if there never really was any background into his therapy, it was only between him and his therapist, and there wasn't much going on there, no kind of background, no files or anything like that at an agency or anything like that who was taking care of him or something. But if it was just a one-on-one thing that this therapist was someone that his parents hired, or I guess the orphanage maybe where he was staying at hired type thing. But so it's kind of cool. He's looking into that, and he stumbled upon the videos of him kind of turning off the cameras every time he goes to see these two videos of him turning off the cameras to go see Wilson Fisk and stuff. So that's really cool. He stumbles upon that kind of a bit fast. But it is what it is. I think it was kind of cool to kind of move the story on forward and stuff. We see Poindexter. He ends up confronting Jewelry, and he ends up kind of winning her over and stuff. And he doesn't want a relationship with her. He wants to use her to be his new therapist pretty much. And he doesn't kind of say that, but he just wants her skills that she used as when she was on the phone with a suicide line and stuff. So that was kind of interesting with that. Then we see Foggy. We see that he had a plan. We saw that in the last episode. We never saw what his plan was. And his plan, he figures out what kind of Fisk's plan is, and that he's setting himself up as the one and only crime boss type thing, where he's getting rid of all the competition and anyone who wants protection from the police and the FBI type thing. He's the one to go to type thing. Whereas if you take away the Albanians, takes away all of them, leaves the corrupt politicians, he's now the one who has the corrupt politicians. He's now the one who has all that stuff. So it's kind of cool how Foggy kind of figures that all out. We don't get to see how he figures it out. All we see is that he puts pieces together from from his files and stuff, and also from Marcy's files and stuff. So that was really cool seeing that. Then we see Fisk ends up killing Julie. They kind of go by it real fast. I love how we watch it on the security camera instead of actually being there with her and watching it happen. It's such a fleeting moment. It's like, oh wow, they killed her off, and Poindexter still doesn't know that she's dead. They did obviously take her cell phone, and he's he thinks that she's kind of ghosting her or kind of ended the relationship. She blocked his number type thing, so that's all he knows about it. I thought they were gonna, maybe he was gonna blame Daredevil, make the real Daredevil, or frame the real Daredevil for killing Julie and leaving him in his apartment or something like that. I think that would have been a messed up thing to send, since Wilson Fisk knows that Matt Murdock is Daredevil, or at least he suspects it most throughout this episode, until he straight up asks Karen and kind of confirming it. And her face, she doesn't say anything, but her face kind of confirms it and stuff. So that was really cool there. But yeah, so there's interesting that Poindexter doesn't know yet that what's going on with Julie and stuff, and I think that could be an interesting idea as to where things could go with for Poindexter in this season. I'd like to see him maybe find out that Julie's alive. Does he find out that Fisk had her killed, and maybe he helps take down Fisk, and then he's on the loose, on the run type thing? That could be cool, because I really want him to stick around as a character. Maybe go to jail, maybe go to prison or whatever, but I don't want to see him killed off by the end of the season. Nor do I really want to see Wilson Fisk killed off, but at the same time I'd like to see Wilson Fisk locked up for a long time, and then move on to a different villain type thing, since after 3 seasons of him, mostly 3 seasons, I guess 2 seasons and a half, because second season he didn't really do much other than let Frank Castle back out of prison type thing. But it would be cool to get a little bit of a break from Wilson Fisk and get someone else a little bit different. So I think it's really cool to see where things are going to go with that relationship between Poindexter and Wilson Fisk, because that's a really interesting one there. Matt and Ray end up breaking into Poindexter's apartment, and it's interesting how they I guess they get a lawyer, or they pretend to get a lawyer to Ray pretends to get a lawyer to have him talk so she could sue the FBI for wrongful termination and stuff, which is going to be interesting to see where things go with that, because all I was thinking about that is that if he ever finds out that this is not a real lawyer, or it's all fake, this lawyer, she's just biding her time, does she really know that, or do they actually get a lawyer to hire him and she thinks she's actually doing this stuff, or is she in on the gag that she's just kind of biding his time type thing? I don't know. I think that would be an interesting thing to find out, because if Poindexter ever finds out that they were kind of holding a carrot in front of him and then nothing, giving him false hope type of thing, and that's just going to send him even more spiraling. And then I could see him in retaliation going after Ray's family, and wiping out all of them. I think that could be a dark story to see, but I could see that being his how he gets back at Ray type thing. So we'll have to wait and see as to where things kind of go from there. And then they go into his apartment. They find nothing but the tapes and stuff. So that was kind of interesting there. It was cool seeing Matt kind of break into the safe and stuff on his own, just by listening and feeling and stuff. But they find the tapes, but Poindexter later on ends up burning the tapes. So those are really kind of out of play, except for the one that Daredevil kept. But how do they put those into play? What do they say? Daredevil broke into his place and gave it to it's kind of so it doesn't really work out that way. So we'll see if that one tape left is anything to kind of use against Poindexter. We'll have to wait and see how that'll stand up in court and stuff. We see Karen. She ends up going. She's supposed to go meet Foggy to help him, because he wanted to confront the DA. What was it? What is his name? Blake Tower. He wanted to confront him and he does it really publicly with a lot of people in like a venue, and they're all kind of filming him on his cell phone. So I feel like that's going to be coming to play next episode. Those videos on the cell phone will be kind of out there, and he kind of exposes or tries to expose Wilson Fisk publicly there. But then halfway through, he ends it when he realizes that Karen Page has gone to interview Wilson Fisk, trying to get him to do something, physically harm her, kill her, whatever, so that they can put him back in bars type thing, because she's kind of has nothing left to live for type thing. And it really is interesting seeing that. Fisk kind of asks Karen about Matt's secret identity, and then just her face kind of lights up from that, and that's when he's like, confirmed it. So he pretty much figured, but he just wasn't 100% sure. So I like that idea, just because he's a blind person, right? And he wasn't. I'm surprised that he wasn't. I guess he was still 95% sure, But I mean, then seeing him with the way Matt Murdock was fighting in the prison, wasn't that enough to kind of confirm it 100% that that's his fighting style. That's Daredevil type thing. But then I guess he was 99% sure, and this probably really confirmed it. And I think that's really interesting to see as to where things are going to go with that. And yes, he knows now at least somewhat of the relationship between Karen and Matt Murdock. So he realizes that, if he could probably go to Vermont, hire someone to go to Vermont and go and kill some of Karen's family, which would also be a way to getting at Matt Murdock type thing. Since he's probably already looked into Matt Murdock's family, figured in that his father's already dead, his mother's a ghost type thing, until we find out at the end of this episode. But so that's really going to be cool to see as to where things are going to go with that, and how he's going to try and use get at Karen to get to Matt, type thing, by hurting one of his family members, or maybe her father type thing, since they I'm not sure if they cast someone there, but they had someone come in for the voice, at least in the earlier episodes when he was on the phone. So that would be an interesting idea, as to, maybe this father gets kind of, her father gets murdered by Fisk. Who knows? That could be something we could see. We'll have to wait and see there. But then Karen tells him about how she killed Wesley, and he just is about to lose it and stuff. That's when Foggy came in and pretty much saves her type thing, by lying to the FBI, saying that she's going to kill him. And I think that was kind of interesting idea as to how I love that she kind of straight up just tells him type thing, and admits all that. I didn't think she was going to say the words I killed him type thing, so that she's only hinting at it, implying it type thing, so there's no proof. But I guess again, there's not too much audio on those on the cameras or whatnot, or they're just not going to trust obviously Wilson Fisk's hearsay type thing. But we'll have to wait and see as to where things kind of go with that. I think it's going to be quite cool to see where things go. And then we end the episode with Matt Murdock hearing Sister Maggie praying and praying to which we assume is God, but she's praying to to Matt's father. I can't think of his name, but we were praying to him, saying that calling herself his mother type thing, and that's where we end the episode. So I can't wait to see where things are going with that. I think it's going to be really cool to see that. I knew that going into this, it obviously she was his mother, since it's in the comic books and stuff. And going into this, I think I knew she was going to be that character, and I think that is really cool. I definitely can't wait to see as to where things go and how he kind of how does this gonna change things for him? How does things and all that stuff, and why didn't she say anything earlier on type thing. I think that's really going to be cool to see where things go with all this. So all in all, I'm really excited to see where things go. We also end with Ray kind of calling his boss, saying that he's somehow going to tell his boss that what he knows about Poindexter, but I'm not sure how, if she is is he going to admit that he's working with Daredevil, the real Daredevil. He also got shot, and he's not really stitching himself up. He's just kind of which would be a good time for Matt to have brought him to see Claire, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure from what rumors I've read, titles and stuff of articles online, is Claire Temple might be done for Rosario Dawson might be done with the Netflix shows or something like that. So I'm not sure why she's not in this episode, but that might be one of the reasons why. But story wise, need a reason as to why does he, if he needs to help to patch up Ray, she's the person to go to trust. Who else? Could he go to trust? Now, one thing I could see him doing is also calling up Danny Rand. Danny Rand would know someone, would have someone who's a doctor on staff that he could pay off real quietly and say, don't tell anyone about this type thing. Here's something real quiet. And I think that could be an interesting idea. I don't know how much you could really trust someone, in the Rand stuff, but I think Danny Rand would definitely be one of the people to do that, to have someone to know how to heal stuff. Actually, Colleen Wing might have some skills in doing that. Even maybe Misty, she's probably knows how to sew herself up, but it would definitely be something that it would be cool to see. It would have been cool to see, at least maybe even Claire Temple, just one episode of her coming in, just, we need you to sew this guy up, that's it, bye. Even if not her, give her an explanation as to why she's no longer available, and give me someone else. Even if you don't have Rosario Dawson coming back, just kind of explain it. And I think it would be cool to see that, especially with the Iron Fist canceled. Definitely want to see him even if bits and pieces here and there, or just the fact that he's still alive, still around there. Just because the show's canceled doesn't mean the character doesn't exist anymore within the setup, within the other shows that are connected in the same universe, right? So I think that's really going to be cool to see as to where things go with that. So all in all, I'm really excited to see as to where things going to go with all this, with Ray. What's going to happen with him, what's going to happen, all this stuff, and how things are going to go down. And I'm glad that it looked like Karen was just about to, Foggy wanted her to go to see Ellison and tell her about the story that they want to do and how he's going to give her job back just because of that. And I think that would have been way too easy to give that back, to do that. And I'm glad she didn't even try to do that. I'd like to see her try to do that, but maybe have him stick his ground and be like, nope, not until you tell me who Daredevil is type thing, and then keep ending her career like that. And I think that it would be too cheesy for her to have she's one of the main victims type thing. She has the story. She needs to write the exclusive because she was a victim. She was the main hostage type thing. And I think she it'd be the ultimate exclusive. That's just kind of too cheesy and too obvious. So I would actually like to see her kind of not get her job back until season 4 or whatever the next season of show, if she's on the next season of Punisher. At the end of that, get her job back, the last episode, get her job back of another season maybe. So we have a full season, the rest of this season, and a full season of her without the job as a reporter, and then we see her get another job. So I think that could be cool to see as to where things kind of go in here. With all of that. So let me know what you think, guys, really about all this in the comments below. Where do you think things are going? What do you rate this episode? And definitely can't wait to see. And I'd love to see after this Poindexter and I'd like to see Poindexter and Walker meet up. I think that would be really cool to see as to how things going to go and how they would have how a relationship between them would really go. Between Poindexter, Mary, and the third personality that hopefully we'll find out at some point, but obviously not in another Iron Fist season. We'll have to wait and see as to where things kind of go with that one. That's just up in the air, but I need to figure out that. And I think it would be really cool to team her up with Poindexter. So they're really going to be cool to see as to where things go here. So let me know what you think, guys, in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.